Hi, everybody. It's Barbara Schwartz. Thank you for joining me this evening. It's starting to become spring. Important to remember with the weather change, drink your water. Our body's natural cooling system, perspiration. So it's really important to drink that water. Um, Kind of going to jump in. Hi, Doc Gabby. Welcome as always. It always makes me smile to see you here. And I've been seeing some great recipes. So thank you for joining me. And I actually got some really good ones from another client of mine locally. She's not part of our Facebook secret group, so you're not going to see them there. But she is a part-time chef, and she's an event planner, and she has been cooking up a storm and started to send me some recipes. So I'll say thank you, Dina, who we will be posting some of her new recipes in the near future. So she just sent me something really yummy looking today that we'll be posting shortly. So keep those recipes coming. It keeps it really interesting for not only for me, but for all of you. And I know you might not think something that you're doing is so simple, is worth paying forward, or it might seem so obvious from another recipe on the website. But if you are enjoying it and it's not currently on our website, if you enjoyed it, it probably means others will. So please don't be shy. There's no recipe that, if it's legal ingredients, it's not turned away. But again, if you enjoy it, there's a good chance others will. And what a great way to pay it forward. So, and we thank you for that. Actually had a new client this evening who said she spent some time on the site and there were so many recipes. She just assumed those were for after the program was done. And so just to remind you, we now have over 500 recipes that you can enjoy while on the program. So this never has to be boring. It's just about connecting with the recipes that suit you best. And one of the things we developed, and some people were asking about, we're going to put it up on the website soon, especially for some new clients, is we did create some sample menus we did 3 examples of what a veggie day could look like and 3 examples of what a milk day could look like. And one of our wonderful staff members, Madeline, pointed out that that's not on the website, so it's not available to everybody. So we're going to get that on there in the very near future so that everybody can get some ideas. And again, they're not set in stone. They're just to help lay out and get you thinking, how can I lay out my fruit and veggie days maybe a little differently, or my dairy day. Couple of things that came up quite a lot this week, and that I'm going to focus on this evening, are about what do I do, and we're moving away from the word cheating. If we really think about it, we're not cheating. Our inner child is acting out. That's what happens typically. When we give in to something that's not on the program, it's our inner child having a temper tantrum. And as a parent or as an adult, we're not parenting that inner child, and they're now running the kitchen. And as we know, if you let a child run the kitchen, they're going to go after, especially we're talking a 3 to 5-year-old. Chances are they're not running to the fridge to grab the carrots. They're running to the cookie jar to see what kinds of treats are there. So the first thing is we want to kind of start moving away from this language of cheating, and let's really recognize what it is, which is our inner child acting out. So I want to talk a bit about that this evening. My other main topic is, and kind of tied to that, hi Dorothy, kind of tied to that is, what do I do? I find that if I do stray from the program, if my inner child is acting out, like once I've had one bite where I had a moment where I went off the plan, mentally I just, today's lost, all caution thrown to the wind, it's done. It's done. So, I give up until tomorrow, and now I'm all over the map all for the rest of the day. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And the other thing we're going to talk about, I've been hearing a lot in the past week, is I did great for the first 50 pounds. I only have 10 pounds to go. Why is this so much harder than losing the first 50? So those are going to be the two main things that I'd like to talk about this evening. And if you have questions, obviously type them in, text them over. But that's what I'm going to focus on this evening. So let's go first back to this concept of inner child. Again, we all have in here, right, is our inner 5-year-old. And the most important thing for you to know about this inner 5-year-old, we don't want to chase him or her away, right? We want them to live there. They are our center of joy, of fun. As my father, Dr. Schwartz, would say, as a retired psychologist, he'll say to you, I defy you to look at an adult genuinely having fun without acting like a child. Right? So our inner child is our place of joy. Our adult is the one part that understands responsibility, cause and effect, action, reaction. And a child does not understand consequences. So all a child wants is to make you happy. And so if you're not feeling happy, or you're put in a situation where there's not your regular happiness and joy, like, okay, I'm at a party and everybody's having alcohol and eating cake. I'm in a weight loss plan and I can't do that right now. Okay, maybe a few moments of discomfort. But if it's really uncomfortable, our inner child wants to make us happy. It wants to give us joy, and it's going to start acting out. And that's where the temper tantrum, that craving, that urge is coming from. Now, I want to set aside, there are cravings and urges that represent imbalances, right? I'm craving salt all the time. That's different. That's something called a mineral imbalance. But when you're having an urge or craving because you see or smell something, or you see other people having it, that is not about what your body is missing or an imbalance. That's about the inner child going, but I want it too. Right? How many kids are, it's not fair. He has it and I don't have it. I want it too. Right? So we have this moment of stepping up and parenting our inner child. And let's be honest, most of us have been around a toddler or a young child, and we'll say somewhere between 3 and 5 years old, that's in the kitchen and having a temper tantrum. But I want a cookie and I want it, and I want it, and I want it, and I want it now. And you're making dinner or you're doing whatever, and you just want the shouting and the temper tantrum to go away. So what do? You give into it. And so they ask for the cookie, you give them the cookie, and okay, so now it's quiet. I don't have a headache. Thank you. Go away. But what's going to happen next time? The kid now knows, if I have a temper tantrum, I get what I want. So they're going to come into the kitchen and they're going to automatically throw a temper tantrum tomorrow to get what they want, because you showed them that if they shout loud enough, they get what they want. So now what happens is you had an urge or craving. Again, you saw somebody eating something you wanted, so you had it too. You let the inner child win. Next time there's something that you want, the inner child is going to tantrum and go, but I want it, I want it, I want it. And you're going to take it because you don't want to deal with it. And the urge or craving goes away if you have it. And so you go, it's justified. It's okay. It was just one. And one leads to the next, leads to the next. And now we have a little snowball effect. So first thing I want to share, and I have to say thank you to Lynn, because I thought this was brilliant, is again, we tie really well back with analogies. So many of us know how to drive a car. And most of us at some point have driven somewhere where we're driving by rote. And so we're paying attention, we're driving safely, but we're on autopilot. And in that mode, have you ever accidentally jumped a stop sign? Or crept through the red light? You don't continue to do it the rest of the day, right? If anything, now your adrenaline is pumping. You're like, oh, thank goodness there was no police officer and I didn't get a ticket. But I went through that stop sign. Just because I went through one and I didn't get caught doesn't give me license to keep jumping stop signs the rest of the day. So let's start with, if we've gone through a stop sign, we've strayed from the program, our inner child was acting out and we let them win. Stop. Stop. Just because you did it once, you don't go down the rabbit hole. You don't keep letting the inner child win. You stop. And you recognize that one behavior doesn't need to lead to continued behavior. You have the opportunity to step up, parent that inner child, and take back the control. And there's several ways you can do that. Number one, use Dr. Schwartz's magic protocol. How to work your abs. Admit, breathe, substitute. Admit that you want something that's not on the program. I really want the piece of cake. Everybody else is having cake. I really want it too. Or even everybody's eating chicken. That's a healthy food. I really want it too. So admit it. Admit it out loud, okay? It's not real until it crosses your lips. Let it come out. Acknowledge it. I really want that, right? And say it. I really want the chicken. I really want the cookie. I really want the cake. I really want the glass of wine, whatever it is. Acknowledge it. It's okay to want. Wanting is different than acting on. So let's admit it. I want that glass of wine. Now, we're going to do the Qigong breathing. And in this case, we're going to do 3 breaths. We reviewed it last week. Again, nice deep breath in through the nose and as slowly as you can out through your mouth. Count to 5 and repeat again for a total of 3 breaths. So admit, breathe, and now take a substitute. Now, if you need something strong, you can do a sugar-free Halls. My current favorite is the Listerine Ready tabs, because after you eat these, nothing's going to taste good. You could do something sweet and satisfy that inner child, like the Anytime chocolate pudding or the Aki bonbons, which is the frozen chocolate pudding, some sugar-free Jell-O, or any sugar-free candy or lollipop. So depending on what time of day, again, if it's during your noon to 6, you could take something to eat. Or if it's outside of noon to 6, or you don't want to use a substitute of food, again, go to a sugar-free candy, a Listerine tab, a breath strip, a piece of gum. But you're going to look at it and you go, I may not want this as much as I wanted that other thing, but this is okay. I enjoy this too. And this is the better choice in the moment. And you put it in your mouth and you take back control. So in a way, by admitting that you want that thing that's not on the program, you're giving up control in the moment to that thing. Then you do the breathing exercise, and by taking this substitute, you're actually taking back your control. So that's one way to stop and not continuing the bad behavior, right? What do we want to do? We want to stop. So another thing is, again, sometimes in the moment we can't do all the parts and pieces. Is get yourself a substitute, right? Or any kind of distraction. Go into the other room, change your behavior. You can just do the Qigong without the other, without admitting out loud and taking a substitute. But if you really think about how you would handle a child, it would be a distraction. So when my daughter walks into the kitchen and she says, Mommy, I really want a treat. And I look at the clock and I go, look, I'm making dinner. It's almost dinner time. Now is not a good time for a treat. But Mommy, I really want it. Before it hits temper tantrum, we go into distraction mode. You know what, sweetheart? I get you want something crunchy. You love cucumbers. I have a great cucumber here. Let's peel it up really quick. And here you go. Here's a cucumber. Now, the cucumber is not something that she wanted, but she likes cucumbers, maybe not as much as cookies. But before the temper tantrum even started, I gave her a substitute, a distraction. Same thing, how many times if she's bored, and I use the she, my daughter, because the behavior of a child is what's going on here. It's our inner child acting out. So how often do you think you're hungry because you're bored and you want to give in to something, right? I'm used to coming home from work and unwinding in front of the TV, and I like to have a snack. And so what do? Out of habit, you go into the kitchen and you start preparing something, and before you know it, you've had something and the inner child is acting out. Oops, let's get it right. Stop. Stop. Boredom is not a reason to eat, and eating is not a solution for boredom. Go find something to do. Change your activity. Go get a deck of cards and play some solitaire, or play it on your computer. I always think it's good to step away from the screen. But go do something. Start a list of things that you can do when you're bored, right? I can tell you that if I'm aware that my daughter says she's hungry and really what's going on is she's bored, I go, you know what, sweetheart, let's color. Let's go get your coloring book, or let's go get a pad. Let's do some drawing. Within minutes, she forgot about food. And that's how I know I'm right. She's not hungry. She's bored. The first thing that came to mind was having something to eat. It's a knee-jerk reaction. Fills the time, fills the space. Let's step away from the food. Let's stop. Let's stop in our tracks. Let's focus. Let's be an adult. And let's take back control. Because there's no reason for our inner child to run the kitchen. There's no reason. Now, also, what happens when a child is acting out? Let's really go a little deeper for a minute. Children act out when they feel ignored, unloved, unsafe. That's when they act out, right? How many times is a child so well behaved until their mom or dad gets on the phone? The minute they're on the phone, kid is all over the place. Mommy, daddy, I need help. I need you. Blah, 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 blah. And the minute you hang up the phone, they're off doing their own thing. The minute a child feels unloved, ignored, unsafe, they start to act out. Children like to know where the boundaries are. So same thing. If all of a sudden, here you are with a structure of a weight loss plan, and it's going well and it's healthy and you're losing weight and you feel good. All I hear from people, right? My energy is great. Once you get through that initial detox, my energy is great. I feel great. I'm slimming down. I feel terrific. I have more energy. I'm less sleep. It's all good, right? And all of a sudden, that inner child is acting out and you're straying from the program. Well, what happens if you don't step up to parent that inner child and show them, here's the structure of the plan. This is where safety is. When a child doesn't understand where the boundaries are, they keep pushing for an answer. They keep pushing and pushing and pushing until they feel safe. When a child is acting out, they're telling you something. Again, I'm feeling unsafe or ignored. So I'm shouting louder, I'm acting out, I'm getting more devilish, I'm getting worse with my behavior. If your behavior is continual and it's getting worse and worse and worse, right? There are more times, there are more things that are tempting you and more opportunities where you aren't taking control. Chances are your inner child is feeling either really ignored or unsafe, not understanding the boundaries. So the great news as compared to a human outside of you is your inner child holds no grudge. So you don't have to have guilt for any behavior you've had up until now. They love you unconditionally because they are part of you. So your inner child loves you unconditionally. No matter what you do, you are loved. So just know that you're loved. But they're feeling ignored or unsafe, and they are acting out over and over, and it's getting louder and faster and more frequent and with bigger strays, with bigger bouts of feeling out of control. The inner child is screaming, please give me some structure, pay attention to me. I need love, I need structure, I need safety. When children have that, they're typically very well behaved. So now we have to recognize that we have to give back that structure to the inner child to feel loved and safe. We've got 2 days fruits and veggies, 2 days milk and yogurt or dairy alternatives, noon to 6. There are things that you can enjoy, legal treats anytime, but there's structure. If I need something, I can have 0-calorie fluids whenever I want. I can have a different flavor cup of tea. I can have herbal. I can get something in the cinnamon savory family, right? A chai. I can get something fruity like a berry tea. One of my favorites I came across while on the program was chocolate mint. But I can give something that satisfies my inner child and makes them happy and makes them feel that they're satisfied. They got something. They got a treat. But it was within the structure. And there are boundaries. And the more that we keep those boundaries, the safer we feel again, and the less the inner child is going to act out. But in those initial stages, they're going to get louder and louder. And if we don't rein it back in, if we don't stop, the cravings, the urges, the acting out is going to continue. It's going to be more frequent. And it's going to get louder and louder and harder to control. So what does that really mean for us? It typically takes 3 days, only 3, but 3 days of focused intent and battle for a child to understand where the boundaries are. They will typically test you for 3 days. So that means your inner child struggle is typically going to take 3 days of actually facing your urges and cravings and using your strategies to get them under control. To just say, stop, I'm not giving in. But the great news is, with consistency, the child starts to feel safe. Oh, I know where the boundaries are. And if the parent or the adult is investing the time to show me those boundaries, I feel loved. So now I feel safe and loved. And if I feel safe and loved and I've pushed and I've pushed and I've battled, where's that boundary? Where is it safe? Where's that boundary? With consistency, the child knows the answer. Oh, here's where the boundary is. Now I feel safe. Now I feel loved. Now I don't need to act out. And we're back to smooth sailing. And I'll say I just went through that over the past week with client Anna, who has been dealing with just that. And I was really excited for her because she said, I struggle most at work, but I have a few days, we're coming up to the weekend. I've got almost 3 whole days that I can deal with this. So you know what, I'm going to start really putting this to work over the weekend. And she said, you know what? I needed to get out of my weak spot, my work environment, to kind of gain my strength back. But she went back to work today and she said, at lunchtime, she was really feeling great because she put in that structure that she needed and she helped her inner child understand where the structure was. And now she's got her control back, and all of a sudden, those inner child temper tantrums have stopped. 3 days in. It's magic, right? It does take hard work to get there. And any urge or craving, temper tantrum, typically lasts about 20 minutes. While you're going through it, it'll feel like 5 hours, never ending. But when you understand, typically an urge or a craving is 20 minutes. What can't you do? Just stop what you're doing, go to another room, change direction, go pick out an activity. Again, if it's an aroma that's getting you, some peppermint oil. We've talked about this before, a little dab on your upper lip below your nostrils. You can use other aromas as well. The reason I tend to go to peppermint, it's very strong, but also coming from this area, it is a very clean, hygienic aroma, and most people will just think you brushed your teeth, so it's not creating kind of alarm bells going off to other people, versus a eucalyptus or a menthol or some kind of other strong aroma. Mint is, what most toothpastes are, so people think you just brushed your teeth, and you're giving the impression of being a very hygienic person. So, use these tools around you, and you're going to succeed. Now, again, we're human, and sometimes an inner child acting out is just an inner child acting out. But remember, if your inner child is acting out, stop. Just because you ran through a stop sign doesn't mean you have a license to go through the stop signs the rest of the day. Recognize that you did it. It's not permission to do more. You jump the stop sign, you don't spend the rest of the day going through stop signs. So if you stray from the program, stop. Take a step back, think about it, get yourself a substitute, use one of your tools, and get right back on the program as if it didn't happen. So that's part number 1 for this evening. So, and again, if you guys have questions, if there's anything you'd specifically like me to cover on these things, do feel free to pipe in. Easiest way is to just type in a question you have. So let's talk about the end of the program being harder. I hear, and I've been hearing it a lot, we've got a lot of people, which is always exciting for me. We actually have a lot of people over the past 2 weeks that have gone on to stabilization. And I saw quite a few people today who were partway through stabilization, probably 3-4 weeks in, and getting close to maintenance and doing beautifully. I'm just so excited at watching the progress. Look, I love watching all of you lose weight, and that makes me so happy. But the joy I have as people stabilize and actually build their maintenance plan and are getting the hang of it and watching the light bulbs go on, and the joy of actually learning to eat in moderation and indulge and know where to pull it back, and, kind of get that fluctuation of, half a pound to a pound up and down week to week. I've got a couple clients who are even down a pound through the process. Not what you should expect, but that are. I have a client who strayed this weekend for, again, she's allowed to eat, but she went to a wedding and she said, okay, I definitely drank more alcohol than I planned and a little more cake than I planned, and I indulged. But you know what? That was Saturday night. And on Sunday, I just ate sensibly. I had a salad. I had a small piece of grilled chicken. I ate really clean. And here it is. 1 day later, right? So Saturday night indulgence, Sunday eating clean, and today for all of it. And again, here, the indulgence, and again, we're talking phase 2 stabilization where things are coming back, but her indulgence was Saturday night. That was only a day and a half ago. And she was only up half a pound. And she's still, all processing. So she did beautifully. She did beautifully. And again, I said, did you feel any deprivation along the way? She said, no. I just knew when I'd had enough. Like, I indulged, but when my stomach said I had enough, I stopped. So it's all this learning process. It's really exciting. And I have to say, people going through phase 2, and then when we see people checking in on maintenance and doing beautifully, or even, showing up with a struggle, but showing up and not accepting that things are out of control, saying before they get out of control, let's do the next level of learning. That stuff excites me because, right, weight loss And you're going to learn so much about yourself in the weight loss journey. But what we learn about ourselves through maintenance, through stabilization and maintenance, and that's what life looks like, right? Life is what comes after weight loss. So when you guys get onto that path and you're doing great, just my personal joy for that, there are no words, so I'm going to stop. But that stuff gets me excited. But okay, so let's go back to the question at hand. Why are those last 10 pounds so much harder? 8 pounds, 10 pounds, whatever it is. You know, a lot of people are here to lose 50, 60, 70 pounds. And they do great, and all of a sudden we're near the end. And they're focused. No inner child acting out. Focused on it, doing great. Took a day off for a holiday, went right back on. No issues. Nice and focused. And all of a sudden, can't have a clean day. Haven't had one day in 2 weeks without inner child acting out. Again, let's move away from the word cheating. Haven't had a day without the inner child acting out and winning. So I look at this, and again, I'm going to tell you my perspective. Again, I am not a psychologist. That would be my dad. But I've been blessed to observe thousands of people through this process of being a weight loss consultant. And what I've observed, and it's not just about weight loss, we all have a top 10 list subconsciously in our head of the things that are really important to us, our projects, our health, whatever's going on in our world that's important to us. Subconsciously, we don't think about it. We have a top 10. And it's the top 5 that we accomplish. And the bottom 5, we keep moving them forward, but they don't quite get done. Because if they're in the bottom 5, there's at least 5 other things that are a higher priority that become excuses. When we are unhappy, and this part I will share, this is from my dad, from an actual psychological perspective. When we are unhappy, we automatically put the thing that's unhappy in the top 5 to make it go away. So most people, when they join, are really unhappy about the way they feel and or the way they look and or the way the clothes fit and their body shape. They come because they're unhappy. Well, when you're unhappy, you're going to do whatever it takes to make unhappy go away. And so you start on this journey, and here you're getting fast results and you feel good. So yes, it has its challenges. It's simple, but we know it's not easy. But we're going to do it because it works and we feel good. And if it works and we're getting fast results and we feel good, look how quickly we're making unhappy go away. I can do that. Okay, so we're in the zone and we're doing it and it feels great. Now, we're not at our goal, but we're starting to get compliments. People are noticing, hey, you look terrific. You're starting to go into your closet and some of your old favorite clothes are starting to fit again. That feels good. Now, I'm not happy yet. I'm not at my goal. I am not where I want to be. Yes, some things fit, but I'm not in the body shape or at the energy level or whatever. I'm not quite done. But I'm getting compliments. I have more energy. My knees don't hurt. Again, some of the clothes in my closet are starting to fit again. I'm not unhappy anymore. I'm not happy, but I'm no longer unhappy. When unhappy leaves the room, the priority, subconsciously that priority is lower on our list. It's not urgent anymore. Getting rid of unhappy is urgent. Being content or lack of unhappy, that's not urgent. Wanting to get happiness, you'd think it would be urgent, but getting happy is not urgent. Making unhappy leave, that's urgent. Making happy arrive, not so urgent. Important, yes, that's why we're still doing it, right? You wouldn't still be on the program if it wasn't a priority. You would just walk away or move to phase 2. So if getting happy, reaching your goal, getting into the clothing size you want, or again, your health goal, because doctor said I should get to this so that I won't get high blood pressure, or I can get off my meds when I reach a certain point. Diabetes runs in my family and I don't want that. So doctor told me I need to get here. Yeah, that's really important. And I'm not going to give up. It's a priority. But it's no longer urgent when I feel better, when I'm closer. There's not a lot to do. So now it's moved down the priority list. It doesn't mean it's not important. Again, if it wasn't important, you'd walk away. It is important. But where it sits in your priority list, and again, it doesn't matter. I mean, I like to call it 1 through 10. My dad says, why put a number on it? I'm more of a concrete kind of person. So I like to think of the top 5 and the bottom 5. So let's say it drops down to number 7 or 8. And again, from where in the bottom 5, doesn't matter. But that means, again, there's at least 5 other things. And maybe one of them is, you know what, socially, I haven't been out on a Saturday night and really just laid back, let my hair down, gone out with my friends, had some drinks. I miss that. Now, it doesn't change that I want to get into my size 8. But I'm in a size 10. That's not so bad. I was a size 16. Now I'm a size 10. Feels pretty good. Everybody noticed. I really want to be size 8. I got a bunch of size 8 in my closet, and I saw that great outfit at the store, and I can't wait to get into it. Yeah, that's good. But you know what? I'm a 10. I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah, maybe tonight's the night I'll go out with my friends. And what's one night off? It is delaying getting to our goal. And again, harmless. Okay, I'll do an extra week on the program. But before you know it, there's one excuse after the other because it's just fallen down on our priority list and it's not our focal point. And quite honestly, you can look at any project. So if you start thinking this like a project, how many projects do you start and you get like 80-90% done? Moving house. I don't know anybody who's actually unpacked every single box. I always know everybody I talk to says, there's those couple of boxes I never got to. Someday I'll get to them. But again, they wouldn't be the priority boxes because the dishes must be unpacked and all their favorite clothes must be unpacked and all their, toiletries and the things they use every day. So maybe it's the photo albums or something of memories, something I don't use every day. I'll get to the box whenever. And I can say, that's me. I move her. I'm not unpacked yet, but all the really important stuff is unpacked. I have no idea what's in the unpacked boxes. Okay, I have a kind of an idea. And some of it is old work papers that I need to keep legally. You have to keep them for your taxes. But yeah, I didn't unpack them yet. They're in a box in the corner. Some of it's my daughter's artwork that I didn't have a chance to put in a binder. I don't want to get rid of it, but it's in a moving box sitting in the corner. I'd really rather not see a box and put it where it belongs, but there's so many other things I could be doing with my time. Here tonight talking to all of you, or I could be home unpacking a box. I'd rather be here talking to all of you. So same thing, right, is projects tend to get 90% done, and then we kind of move on to the next thing that catches our eye and has more urgency. So what do we do about it, right? We want to get to our goal. We want to move to phase 2, and we don't want to just settle and kind of stabilize where we are. I mean, we could say, you know what, I really, really, really wanted to be a size 8, but I'm okay being a size 10. Okay, I'll settle because I'm not unhappy. But do we really want to settle if you've done all this work? I mean, I know I didn't want to settle. I want to go all the way to my goal. I want to be in the clothes I wanted, and here I am, you're still wearing them. That feels pretty good. That makes me happy. I wanted to be happy, not unhappy, or not just content. I wanted happy. So what does it take? It takes intent. Now that you recognize that unhappy left the room. So you lost your urgency. Just because you lost your urgency didn't mean you lost your goal. But now it's a choice. How bad do you want it? Do you want to settle where you are, really close to goal but not quite there? Or do you want to go for it? And going for it is a decision, and it takes planning. And now instead of just being an unconscious goal, top 5, now instead of being an unconscious priority, now you're going to make it a conscious priority. I choose to follow the plan because the plan works. I choose to eat noon to 6. I choose to do my veggie days. I choose to do my dairy days. I choose to have my anytime treats. I choose to either go out with my friends Saturday night and have some sparkling water in the glass or have a cup of tea while people eat dinner, or I choose this week to skip it just to get to my goal. But I choose to make the priority. Now, is that choice a little bit harder? Yes, because it's a conscious decision. And when we have to make decisions versus just going through the motions without having to think, because the priority was subconsciously made for us. Now, consciously, we have to decide what a priority is. And that's more challenging, right? Making decisions is challenging, but we are grown-ups and we know what we want. Now, for some of you, you might say, you know what? I don't want to do that last 10 pounds of hard work. You know what? That is a choice, and nobody's going to pressure you. We're here to guide you. If we hear you want it, we might play devil's advocate and push you a little bit to get to your goal, but nobody's going to force you. Your body, your decision. We're here to guide, and we're here to help you make your best decisions. But if you're happy where your body is, or again, I'll say maybe not happy, but if you're content and doing the hard work for that last bit is just too much and you don't want to, I urge you to go to stabilization, go to phase 2. The biggest downfall I see, and that's where, again, it's come up so much this past week, or I'll say even 2 weeks in conversation, is that people get to this, I'm almost done, I'm so close, but all of a sudden I've just spent, 4 weeks trying to lose the same 5 pounds because I can't even get to that last 5. I keep going up and down and up and down and up and down because I'm not sticking to the program. They're spending twice as much time to lose a fraction of the weight because they're not focused. That if you can't get your head around it, move to phase 2. Go to stabilization. And I urge you to do that because whether or not you went all the way to your goal, whatever weight you lost, you did all that hard work. Don't throw it out. Remember, the weight set point is still wet cement. Still wet cement. If you don't let the cement dry, it's going to be destroyed. And you're going to have to reset it. And that means going into weight loss again. So the biggest downfall I see is that people will get to that 90% done, start having a challenge with that last 10% or that last 8 to 10 pounds. And then they just move on to something else. And they go, well, I didn't go to goal, so I shouldn't stabilize. And they just, I can do it myself. And they move on. But you did all that work. And you didn't let the cement set. And so what happens? A few months later, a year later, the weight goes back, and here you are again. And you're starting the journey again. And now you're on that first 90% because you didn't face it and let the brain stabilize and create a solid platform with a custom maintenance plan so that, again, we're not going to tell you how to live. You're going to tell us how you want to live. We're going to teach you how, and we're going to teach you how by knowing what's right for your body, right? We're going to go through it together week by week, and it's custom tailored to you because, I don't know, if we're on week 2 of stabilization and we add in some foods this week, I don't know how your body's going to react until after it happens. So we don't plan what week 3 looks like until week 2 is done. It's not a guessing game. It's factual, right? What are the actual results? And let's take it from here. If the body's not stabilizing, let's take more time. Let's take our time. Let's really let that cement set. Let's let that weight set point lock in so that we could be eating and our body does a normal slight fluctuation. Our clothes always fit and we feel great. And that we know what to do. And those times we do overindulge a little bit. And like my client this past weekend with the wedding, she overindulged, didn't just indulge. And she thought about what she'd learned through the process. And so she did a clean eating day the next day. It all settled in. But also, she's 3 or 4 weeks into stabilization. The weight set point is setting. We could see it. Every week, she's going to pound. That's what her numbers look like. You know? I mean, I always say, you don't want to flatline. Flatlining is just like they say at the hospital. Flatlining is we're dead. We're not dead. Our bodies fluctuate, right? We drink water, we weigh more. We move our bowel or urinate, we weigh less. So it is normal to fluctuate. What we don't want to see other than with hormones, obviously hormones can create spikes in our scale. But hormones aside, normal day-to-day eating, we want to see a nice little curve, a nice little wave. That's stable. That's stable. Went up half a pound, went down half a pound, maybe lost half a pound, whatever. Within a pound or two. We don't want to see 8 pounds up, 8 pounds down, 8 pounds up, 8 pounds down. No, that's yo-yoing even. Now, hormones can do that. That's fluid weight. Around your period, around ovulation, women, you might see big spikes. That's hormone related and it's fluid. Major swings to the scale unexpectedly, fluid. It'll pass. It's hormone driven. We just take it at face value. It is what it is. But from eating, nice little fluctuation. So the key is know what you want. If you're struggling at that tail end, again, as you get to that last 5, 10, again, 10%, I'll say, of your progress, and all of a sudden you were going smooth sailing, okay, maybe you had a couple minor blips on the screen, but nothing major, you're really focused, you're in the zone, and all of a sudden, as you're getting closer to goal, you're struggling. Please reach out. Our team is here to help, and there's no shame in struggling. There's no shame in reaching out and saying, I need help. That's what we're here for. We're the professors, right? In school, you're doing self-study at home, and you hit a wall, you raise your hand, you pick up the phone, you send an email, and you talk to the TA or you talk to the professor, and you say, I hit a wall, I'm in the self-study, can't figure it out, I need some guidance. That's what we're here for. And sometimes we just, through talking, hit that little sweet spot that you need that makes a difference. And then all of a sudden you get refocused. You actually get what you want, which is your goal. And what's your real goal? Again, wouldn't be like me to end the night without having a moment with my pound of fat. But what's our goal? It's not weight on the scale. It's getting the excess fat out of our body. It's getting our clothes to fit better. It's getting our energy higher. It's getting rid of the joint pain. It's getting, again, I'm bounding up the stairs. Every pound you lose is 4 pounds off your knees. How many of you have lost 25 pounds? That is 100 pounds off your knees. Of course you feel better running up and down stairs. But you did the hard work. You did it. We gave you the tools, and we're here to guide you. You're doing the hard work. Reap the rewards. You've earned it. And I know some of us find it really hard to accept our own successes. Like, seriously, yay you. You're doing great. Don't sabotage yourself. You deserve better, right? Don't let that inner child be screaming out for love. Love yourself. And honestly, if you're struggling and that you just can't get focused, or again, you might recognize that, you know what, I'm really content where I am. And I don't need to go all the way to that goal because the other priorities right now are more important and I don't want to go. Then fine. That's okay, your body and your journey. Then actually what's making you happy is moving forward with phase 2. But don't skip it. You did the hard work. Love yourself by going to that next step. Let's keep this off our bodies. Let's keep the excess. Look, we don't want to be at 0 body fat. That's not healthy either. But let's put our body frames in a healthier place. Let's get to a healthier place and let's lock it in and let's keep ourselves there. Let's learn improved behaviors. Let's create new habits. I mean, think about it. We talked about last week, it takes 21 days of intentional repeated behavior to start to form a new habit. Well, the stabilization plan is a minimum of 4 weeks. So right there, just in the first 3 weeks of going through stabilization, you're creating new habits that your foundation of maintenance is going to rest on. So it's built into phase 2. As you're transitioning and stabilizing the body at the new weight, the habits for maintenance are starting to form. So all you need to do is nurture them, and you've got a strong foundation to build your maintenance on. It's all built in by nature into phase 2 and 3, but you can't get there unless you choose to. And it is your choice, and you are, you're empowered to do so, and it's okay to love yourself enough to do that. And it's also okay to be a grown-up and make a decision and let the decision be, hey, you know what? I'm going to do the hard work, but we're talking 2 to 3 weeks out of my life, and then I'm going to be at goal and I'm going to be done. Or you know what? Even for the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'm ready to move forward and take back the parts that I temporarily gave up, and I want them now. And that's my priority, and it's more important than fitting in whatever size I chose, but I'm healthier, I'm feeling better. It's all okay. But rather than just allowing the priority to shift and allowing the inner child to make that decision for you by acting out all the time, be an adult, step up, and make a decision for yourself. Again, we're here to guide you. We're not here to judge it, but ask for the help if you need it. Because sometimes, again, as adults, sometimes we need guidance. And sometimes, even though we know what we're supposed to do, hearing it from somebody else helps us step up and make a decision. And it's as simple as that. And I know it doesn't sound so simple, but it really is. And there will be difficult decisions I've had to make in life, and I'm sure all of you. And you struggle with the decision. But once you make the decision, you're committed to it. And it's simple to follow through once you've made that decision. So if you're struggling even with a decision, not even struggling with losing weight, but just struggling with the decision of where to go from here, reach out. We're here to help. And there's no shame in that, right? It's a new obstacle. And that's what we're here for, is to help you decide. So the key is, when that inner child is out of control, and again, I'll say thank you, Lynn, stop. Stop what you're doing. Recognize it's time for the adult to step up and for the child to find their place in the background. And you can have that fun and you can have that joy. But let's stop. Let's give the child structure. Let's show them where the boundaries are. Let's show them that we can be an adult and we can make decisions. And let's teach them for a happy future. So let's stop. Let's take ownership of our journey and where we are. And let's get to that goal. Let's lock in that goal. And let's move on with our life and with our maintenance for years to come. Thank you for joining me this evening. I hope I've answered most of your questions, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday. If you've got questions in between, always reach out. Again, thank you for joining me this evening, and have a wonderful week. Have a good night.